what I want, I will get. If I want to be a housewife, I'll be a housewife. If I don't want to be...
Do you think it's wise to tell single mothers that they're going to typically be in the top 20%
I think it's wise to tell single mothers that if you believe...
This woman has a child, and she's like, there's going to be a man to come along and save me. This is what she's saying, really. She just wants a man to come save her. This is all this is. She doesn't want to work. She just wants a guy to come in and pay for everything and support her and her child. That is wild. Single mother refuses to accept this fact. This ought to be good. Let's get into it.
Average salary is $41,000 a year. And you guys even said yourself, like, how many people here wanted to pay 20% or less of the bills? But what percent of us are in the top 20% of women? And so the men are looking up and asking, what do they get out of it? They don't get purity. They don't get youth. Or none of us are virgins anymore. And they get, in the UK, they get a 31-year-old wife. So she's on the brink of geriatric pregnancy. Why on earth would they have a provider mindset for a non-traditional wife?
I'm a virgin.
I mean, there's 7.
So before we get into any more of this is what this conversation is about these women wanting a provider. So essentially, they don't want to do anything. They don't want to have to pay for shit. They want a man to step in and start footing bills, start paying the electricity, start paying the rent, start paying the gas, paying the phone bill, paying the internet, all the above. That's what they're looking for. These catches, these pristine women on this panel. This is what they want. They want a provider. Let's keep that in mind.
Sorry.
I mean, what I would say to that is there's 7 billion men out there. I'm sure you can find the man that you want.
The man that you... Yeah.
And I encourage women to stand up for what they want.
And that sounds nice, but do you have it?
Yeah, but that's, you might not have it.
Yeah, but
where
then
you
if
are
you
now
don't,
isn't where you're always going to be. So I do believe that if you have a mindset of you're going to get something, you can get it.
You can get it, but can you maintain it?
It's got to be realistic, though, which is what you said in the beginning.
It?
Like, people are so delusional. Like, you've got to keep it realistic.
But I feel like it all depends on how you view life. Like you said, you're spiritual. You view life in a certain way. You like to live a certain way.
No, it's dependent on outcomes.
Yes.
So what do you get?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
So okay, if you want a traditional outcome, like I'd first ask, are you a traditional woman? Yeah. And what outcome will you get? What outcome have you gotten in the past? If you've never gotten that outcome in the past, why would you get it in the future by just raising your standards?
No, because I feel like where you are now doesn't mean this is where you're always going to be.
Yeah,
I realize, I know that your mindset matters. So whatever you say, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to get it done. I don't care what she says. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Right, but this is, okay, so if I'm applying for a CEO job and they say, okay, what CEOs have you worked for before?
But did you know
they say, I've worked minimum wage at McDonald's, but I really want the CEO.
But you know,
we can talk about that. We want it, but it doesn't mean you're going to get it.
But
So it sounds like this woman here, right? She's a single mother, but she's saying, and she's insisting to Pearl that I'm still going to be able to get a man, my dream man, who's going to want to provide for me and this child. It's possible because I feel like it's possible. And I do subscribe to the idea that anything I put my mind to, I can accomplish. So let's just say one day I woke up and I wanted to be a doctor. I'm going to understand, though, there's requirements. There's things that I have to do in order to become a doctor. I'm not just going to think that I'll become a doctor, but I don't have to go to college to do it. I believe in my heart of hearts that I can become a doctor without going to college. This is kind of what this woman is saying. It's like, I understand you think you can do it, but do you have the requirements? Do you have the prerequisites? Are you actually going to be able to make that come to fruition? So it's kind of like what she's saying is, I'm a single mom, I'm older, I'm not that attractive, I'm loud, blah, 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 blah. Her saying that she can still get her dream man who's willing to provide for her and her child is like me saying, I mean, maybe not fully, but it's kind of like me saying I'm going to go to college, or I'm going to become a doctor without having to go to college. Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And you keep telling yourself it's possible, but is it actually?
There's been probably situations where that's happened by chance and by going for it.
Right, and people win the lottery, and it happens. But I'm not going to go and give general advice and say, that's going to happen for most people.
But the
perfect example is Tyler Perry.
It's not going to happen for most people, but you just got to want it. That's what I believe. I don't believe that, or totally agree with what you're saying, but I do believe that once you have the mindset and you desire something, I said I'm not in the 20%. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to be one day. Maybe I want to be, and maybe I will be. That's all my mindset and what I choose to do.
You can't be in the 20% with a kid.
Who says that?
It's men.
Why can't I be in the 20%?
And I'm sorry, it's not.
No, sorry.
I'm a mom. Yeah,
I'm a mom. Can I finish talking?
Go on.
And nobody can limit me. No one can limit me. There's no limitation. So if I want to be in the 20% and I believe I'm going to be in the 20% with my 6-year-old, I am going to be in it. That's because that's my mindset and that's how I think.
But you have to ask the top 20% of men what they want.
But that's fine.
And I'm telling you, I've interviewed these men. I've spoken to this men.
Yeah, but that's fine.
And they don't want single mothers typically.
But typically they don't want.
We're seeing firsthand how women just gas each other up with their delusion. You have this other girl clapping her on. It's like they're shielding each other from reality. And if you guys would just indulge just a little bit in reality, maybe you would actually be able to make it come true. Like if you indulged in reality just for a moment and you thought, oh, maybe actually if I were to work on my personality, maybe if I don't know, she doesn't seem overweight. There's really not much this woman can do. But maybe if I worked on my personality, the way I speak, my attitude, just maybe then I could improve a little bit and making my chances more greater to achieve that. But she's so removed from reality. People are hyping up her delusion. She will never actually self-reflect and think, here's the things that I actually can do to improve to get that. And rather, she's just in the state of, I am already enough. Any man can take it or leave it. Who cares? Destiny. Every man is out there for one. There's a man out there for me, and the women around, right? They're doing the "you go, girl" type shit. If you just told her the truth, maybe she could actually improve on things that would get her that outcome. But of course, that's a lot to ask for.
But I'm sure there's a small percentage that will.
And you'll find that percentage.
Sierras exist, but they look like Sierra and they have Sierra outcomes.
Yeah, but the thing
they're
is,
exceptions, they're not the rule.
That's fine. I know I'm not Sierra. I'm Janae Simone. So whatever Janae Simone wants, if she's going to put her mind to it, she's going to get it. So you might not, the percent or the statistics may go against me, but I know who I am and I know what I want. So yes, I have a 6-year-old, and yes, I was a teenage mom, but that doesn't define me as who I am. Who I was when I was 18.
I'm not saying it defines you.
No,
I'm saying, but it influences your outcomes.
It influences my outcomes, but it doesn't 100% factual that's going to be my outcome.
Yeah.
Statistics can say whatever, but from what I believe and where I come from and what I know and what I've seen, what I want, I will get. If I want to be a housewife, I'll be a housewife. If I don't want to be...
Do you think it's wise to tell single mothers that they're going to typically be in the top 20%
I think it's wise to tell single mothers that if you believe...
This woman has a child, and she's like, there's going to be a man to come along and save me. This is what she's saying, really. She just wants a man to come save her. This is all this is. She doesn't want to work. She just wants a guy to come in and pay for everything and support her and her child. That is wild. It's like she's not even talking about just getting a man to come into her life and take her seriously. No, she's talking about a man coming in and paying for her existence and supporting her and her child so that she can be a housewife. I mean, this is wild. This is actually, this is next level delusion. This is crazy. Women in the UK, some of the women I've seen appear on Pearl's show, I don't know if she does it anymore. I mean, my goodness, they are absolutely delusional. And yeah, they very well may be worse than American women. I don't know, or just equally as delusional. But it's like, yeah, you're out of your mind, lady. You're a single mom and you still think it's possible for you to be a housewife? No. That ship is gone. You're gonna have to provide for that kid. The fuck? You trying to get another man to come in provide for you and this child? Out of your mind.
Sorry. Do you think that's honest?
No.
To be honest with you, I don't think that is honest. It's not about honest. It's about letting people know if you believe something and you're going to work towards it.
It's very unrealistic.
But it's not unrealistic.
And I just want to add real quick, not to interrupt again so quickly. Say some man does come along and she's able to get this man. I would imagine he's not going to be very attractive. Okay. He's probably going to be like very unattractive. in her eyes. And she's not really, again, it's not going to be this dream man. She will have to settle, but ultimately it wouldn't be her settling because this guy's coming in and providing for everything. But it's going to be a man that she feels like just because he's paying for everything, she's still going to walk all over him, because it's very unlikely he's going to be that typical sort of masculine guy that doesn't allow a woman to walk all over him. It's probably going to be this sort of nice guy, blue-pilled, that type of guy that really she isn't going to be that aroused by or attracted by, and therefore doesn't have any respect. So it's like, you're fucked. This whole dream man scenario is gone. It's not going to happen. Oh, and by the way, keep in mind, if this man were to come in and he's this dream guy who checks all the boxes, she's then going to expect him to be faithful to her alone, right? She's going to expect monogamy, and it's just ship has sailed, sister.
It is unrealistic in terms of statistics, and I understand you want to be an exception to the rule, but it's unrealistic to leave single mothers to believe.
It's not about trying to be like.
No, you're unique in your circumstances, and you believe you can obtain that.
It's just who I am. It's not. I don't want to.
Yeah, but you're not everybody. You're speaking from not statistical. Like, it's very unrealistic.
Why? So what? I must say to someone, you're going to be a statistic.
I agree. I get your point of view. I get your point of view, but it's to tell at large single mothers they've got a chance of being...
I'm not telling that. I'm saying
that was the question, though. So I think that's unrealistic.
So do you think it's unrealistic?
I don't think it's unrealistic.
I don't think it's unrealistic.
I don't think so.
But I'm not going to look at someone...
Factually, is that not a fact that...
Because I'm not going to look at someone, I don't care what situation you're in now. You can be homeless.
Bro, and her personality, just listen to her. You're so screwed. You're so screwed.
Poor, broke. I'm not going to look at you and tell you, your statistics have said you're going to still be homeless.
Yeah. I agree.
It doesn't... I didn't say you
I didn't say you said that.
I'm not saying that every single mother is going to die alone. But I'm saying if they expect to get with the top 20% of men, they might. Because they're holding out for men that typically don't want them. Top 20%.
Yeah.
I don't even think I deserve the top 20% of men. Like, that's...
It's about knowing what you think you deserve.
That's saying you're an 8 out of 10 or higher.
Yeah.
I mean...
But then, like you said before, men don't really, you're saying they don't look at their parents 8 out of 10, so that wouldn't really matter in hindsight. You're saying that they don't look at a parents.
No, it starts with looks.
Okay, but
I'm
my
saying they
point
don't
of
like
view...
lip fillers.
Oh. Okay, well, my point of view is that I would never look at somebody and say, because of where you are today, or what you have today, or what you've got, you're not going to be able to get something.
I would say because of choices that you've made, it is unlikely that you will be in that position.
But that's your opinion.
It's not an opinion. It's looking at outcomes.
It's looking at outcomes, but then there's many outcomes that I can change. I'm not going to be the same single mother in 5 years.
But
and I don't believe that, and I'm not going to...
But you can't change what men value.
But I can find someone that doesn't.
If you can't keep your baby daddy around, what makes you think you can get some other guy to come in who that child isn't even his, to take you seriously and provide for you and commit to you? I mean, ultimately that's what this comes down to. Obviously you don't know the full picture of like what actually happened between her and the baby daddy. Who knows? Maybe he's a deadbeat, whatever. But again, if the baby daddy's out of the picture, something's up, right? And now you're expecting some other guy to come in and protect or provide for. It's ludicrous. It is. This is crazy.
I don't agree with that.
And typically that's not going to be the top 20%
typically,
of men.
That's typically by statistics. It's not going to be 100%.
That God has for you.
Exactly. It's not 100%.
And miracles happen, but it's not the rule.
It's not the rule, but who said you don't always have to go by rules?
I think it's dishonest to say that it's likely that single mothers are going to get at the top 20%.
It's not dishonest because it's been happened. It happens. It happens. It's not dishonest. I'm letting people know that what you desire is achievable. It's achievable. I'm not going to sit and tell someone because statistics says that you're not going to find someone in 20%. You're not.
But this is why like women like prefer to be lied to. Because that's a lie.
Yeah. It's not a lie. It's literally not being put in a box.
Let me. Okay. Blessing. Do men typically want single mothers?
No.
See, that's what. Well,
but that's you blessing.
Do you know what it is? That's blessing.
I've been a single person. Men and women, as individuals.
Well, no. All men don't want single moms. No, they don't want it. If you get lucky, they'll overlook it. They don't want it. That's obvious. Holy shit, that's so obvious. And yet they're fighting back on that. No, men don't want single moms. You're lucky if they choose to overlook it, but they don't want it. They're not actively seeking it. You know, they don't want that. How can you even try to rebut that?
Wait, for example, I've been. Do you know what as well? It also depends on what type of single mother you are.
No.
Can I finish?
Sorry, go on.
So I'm a single mother. Yes, I am.
Can you finish? You've been yapping this whole time. I'm about done here. I pretty much have heard enough. You're out of your mind.
I was with my daughter's dad for 7 years. That was it. One partner before him, then my daughter's dad. That's it. I'm very, what's the word, if I explain it? It's not hard for me to find someone, but I'm selective, which I am allowed to be. But that's because I want to get married. I do not rule out someone like me meeting someone that's going to value them because they don't have a child.
I didn't say you wouldn't find someone who values you. I said the top 20% of men is probably unrealistic.
However,
and it doesn't.
Wow.
All men feel this way.
Yeah, that's okay.
About any kid.
All right, yeah, I'm done. Can you imagine being in her position and still thinking that you deserve that? Like, that is unfathomable to me. She genuinely still believes she deserves that man. Why? You provide negative value. Isn't that crazy? What the fuck? What are we putting in these people's food? What are we feeding these women? What's with this delusion? That is crazy. Your personality isn't that great. Your looks aren't that great. Attitude, lines with personality. You got a lot of baggage. You're older. You have a child. And yet, you still are chasing after that 20% man or whatever. It's probably less. That's crazy. And it's kind of annoying. It's like, no, you don't deserve that. What the hell? I mean, fuck. You can keep trying. But the problem is, if there were a man to come along and give her the time of day, she's going to think she's settling because he absolutely is not going to be in that top percentage. And yet in her mind, I'm settling for this guy. Unbelievable. Anyways, that's crazy. I'm going to end that here. So if you enjoyed that, just leave me a like and a subscription and then watch some other videos on the channel.